Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot and to the soulmate version of looking at the month of September. So, we did a general reading for the month of September yesterday, and it was pretty uplifting. A lot of positive things, not without conflict for sure, but definitely fairly positive all in all. So we're going to do another one today, only we're doing this with a focus on the soulmate portion of your life, not the whole picture, which could of course be where I recommend that you just kind of layer them one on top of one another, but this is specific to the soulmate piece. It's kind of a deeper dive there. So it's a general reading for this collective. And that means it's not going to resonate with everybody, and as I often say, it should not. But if it resonates with you, then you may want to subscribe. You may want to look at some of the other messages. We're going to go ahead and get started by looking at the overall energy across the course of the month. And so this is the whole month, knowing that we'll probably go back and, do a refresh around the 15th or so. I don't know if I want to do it right on the 15th. I think in a couple of previous months, I've thought, I wish that I had done this a day or two earlier, or I wish that I had given it another day like I felt like I should. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. But I think mid-month we'll do another one and just kind of see if anything does look like it's shifting. So this is like, what I do with the regular readings, where I look at the energetic and emotional backdrop for the day. Here we're looking for the entire month of September. So we've got the Two of Cups. Two of Cups. Ooh, I feel like we need another card. We've got the Two of Cups, which talks about partnership. Okay, partnership. And so you have to be ready to accommodate that partnership and be ready to open yourself up for it. We also have the High Priestess. This is about connection with your higher self, higher power. In order for you to be able to open yourself up for this partnership, you're going to need to have connection with your higher self or your higher power to excuse me, to kind of enable it. So, This is above and beyond what we saw yesterday. I like this. I like it because it's good energy as far as partnership is concerned. I don't see somebody trying to partner with you that is, wishes you any harm. I see a lot of positive intent. The moon in reverse, we're seeing that once again. A lot of the moon lately. The moon card in addition to like the moon reading. Was that it? I think that was it. Yep, looks like that was it. Okay, so the moon in reverse is giving us a little bit of a glimpse of something that has been tough to look at. Like there hasn't been enough light. There hasn't been enough of an opportunity to really get a good look at this thing. And you're getting a little bit more of a look at it. You're encouraged to kind of look at this constructively, carefully, think about it before you jump in or choose not to jump in. There's a now here's exactly what I was maybe sort of a little bit concerned about. When you look in there, even though there's positive intent here, you may find like this is the equivalent of your person coming back to you unhealed, where they're still coming in with this tendency to run away, or it could alternately be somebody else that is coming in as a newer soulmate, but with that same portion of them. Like you've managed to potentially attract someone in who tends to do this same thing. So you may be seeing a bit of a pattern there, or potentially a continuation of an existing pattern. So it's a little bit triggering when this happens, but you have options because you're making the whole thing happen kind of in slow motion. And it's got this feeling of you knowing what your codependent triggered response would be, but not necessarily enacting it. So there's a sense that you may see that coming and say, oh, this isn't the way that I want to go with this time. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. And I feel like you actually, because of this connection with your higher power and your higher self, have the ability to manage things a little bit more, a little bit differently this time. So, So there's something that comes in. It is not especially healed. Could be your person there's been a lot of energy of your person coming back your direction, and we know that we have a or I'm sorry, Venus retrograde actually ends pretty early in the month. Mercury retrograde goes, I gotta see, I feel like it goes to the end of September, but I'll have to look at the date. Um, so I'm not necessarily going to be surprised by hearing that either your person has come back or has has moved closer to you, because some of them you're already in communication but there's still a significant distance. What I would say is don't get comfortable with the closeness, because it seems like they're still working through that piece. Here we have the Hierophant in the upright. So in yesterday's reading, the Hierophant came out in the reverse, just saying, hey, there's going to be an opportunity here for, that one was kind of specific, but saying there's going to be an opportunity here for you to do some, or to hear something that will be of use to you. Here you're getting direct, it's a little bit different. You're getting the direct message that something, message, it's a spiritual message, but it's not one that would be covered by like the feel of that high priestess. This is a person giving you a spiritual message, but you don't necessarily expect it coming from them. There's something that you choose not to do, and I feel like it is, in some way related to this Knight of Wands, in some way related to like not wanting to make a move, not wanting to do something. The Nine of Swords here it's in the upright, but it's got this feeling of you, I guess, getting some anxiety out of the situation when the triggering happens, but you let this go away. You let the triggering go away, you let the anxiety go away. There's also, so here's another one. The Nine of Swords has this feeling of a little bit of it being in reverse. So when the anxiety goes away, like you get triggered, but you work through it pretty quickly. And that is consistent with what we saw yesterday. But when that happens, one of the things that I'm really seeing here is, so it comes in pretty strong. You get rid of it pretty easily as well. The Ace of Swords, here's this truth that sits before you that is particularly difficult for you to accommodate, and you do an incredible job of accommodating it. So this is one that goes into the upright, and it's like it's just a key in a lock for you. It's the right timing for the message. Very positive message going there, but there is a change. So the Tower tells me that there is a pretty significant emotional change that happens within this soulmate dynamic, within this soulmate situation, but I also don't see you making any sudden moves, and I see it ending in a much better place where things feel more stable for you. So to take that a little bit more slowly, the Tower card is showing us basically all of the pieces being thrown up in the air. And so as they begin to land, this Queen of Swords says there's nothing rash about the decisions you're making when these things start to land. You're going to start to see a pattern fairly early on that enables you to put things in a way, or at least impact a lot of the things that you choose to keep. So if you saw yesterday's reading, then you saw where we talked about as you come to new questions, as you come to, there's a crossroads, but it really a series of crossroads, series of decisions. And as you come to those, you get to evaluate how much of this is actually your responsibility. How much of this can you actually impact? What is your level of interaction with whatever these decisions are? And so you're going to start to notice a pattern here, and you're going to drop some things. There are some things that get dropped, but there's also a pattern to the things that you keep. They're the things that make you happy. So you'll get to say things like, I get to tell people that I don't do things that I don't want to do, and or that I only do things that I love, because it's like I have my day job, which I love. I have this. I love this. I love all of the places where I put my energy intentionally are things that I love and that make me happy. Otherwise, when the decision comes for me to say, am I going to continue with this or am I not? Then I always get to say, I get to evaluate that cleanly and determine if it's something that still belongs here. And by no means am I an expert at it, but it is something that once you start really doing it, it's a nice habit to be in. And it's advice that you've gotten for the month of September. I highly recommend it because then you can pick the things that bring you happiness and you can go ahead and let go of those things, let them go by the wayside, or maybe find someplace else for them to go, depending on what they are. As they come to you. But there's a certain stability that happens with this that I think starts to change things for the better for you as you're going into the fall. And we're not in the fall. I mean, we'll get into the fall during the month of September. But as we're doing this reading, we're kind of still in that end of summer time frame. And so there's kind of this feeling that you have a little bit of time, but it's still what I feel like is happening within the month of September. And so this is soulmate related energy. However, it is showing that you have a lot of opportunity to make things that come in as anxiety, fix themselves. You can see truths for what they are. There's a lot of reconciliation energy in this during the month of September, but there's also the sense of something that it really wants to come toward you. So we will take a look at that. I know I've gotten a couple of requests to take a look at that soulmate situation that some of you have already been experiencing, but some of you have not encountered the soulmate yet. And so we're going to look to see kind of what's heading in your direction if you haven't met them, or how things look like they might evolve. It's probably more the same question, but we'll take a look at that in one of the upcoming readings. Meanwhile, though, we've got a whole bunch of people in this collective who are expecting potentially to hear back from somebody, but they've had a lot of back and forth. And so what we see here, though, is that it continues to be a sense of a lot of back and forth. So that's important to know. Let's go ahead and take a look to see what else you need to know across the month of September and just kind of what's coming your way. It's not so much here are the things that are going to happen to you. It's more, this is what you need to know about it. So as things change and people start to impact what is actually coming your way with your own free will, then you're able to say, okay, but here, if we dip down just a little bit farther, we'll kind of see the energies that are behind all that they're putting the free will on top of. We've got the Star card in reverse. Still a delay between you and your person, but again, we see in this energy of September, they could very well be making a communication, even though there's not full healing that has happened there. All right, and so then we've got the Seven of Coins. Seven of Coins is a card of investment. So even if there's not full healing there is there's movement in the right direction. So that Seven of Coins gives us the feel of progress being made, investment being made in the right areas. We've got the Three of Coins saying the road may not be easy, but definitely there's still progress in the right direction with the Seven of Coins sitting there proudly like that. And the Star card, even though it's in the reverse and it's telling us that there's going to be a delay for you moving toward your destiny, well, that's okay, because it's always a path. It's always a journey to get to that destiny. Anything that constitutes that delay is something that is supposed to be in your path and that you'll want to address. So you've got the Three of Coins saying it's not necessarily going to be easy, but you've also got the Ten of Swords coming out in the reverse here. And it's telling you that there's going to be a lot of potential for positivity here. You are looking just directly into some old pain that is no longer having the same impact on you anymore. You have extreme amounts of healing in some area that you're going to be able to point to and say, I'm very happy with this. Proud is not necessarily the right word because it feels like it implies something that isn't necessarily there. It's not so much pride, but it is being pleased with the progress that you've made. You're absolutely encouraged to take a look at that progress and really kind of see what it is, because you all the while kind of been plagued with this sense of, I'm wasting time, I'm not able to get through this quickly enough, I don't have things set into motion. This Three of Wands here tells me that you do have things set into motion, but that you have, with this Two of Wands, important decisions to make once again, like what we saw in yesterday's reading, decisions to make. That Two of Wands came out in the reverse. This one comes out in the upright and feels incredibly similar regardless. There's definitely a sense of decisions to make, opportunities out there. We saw opportunities arise several times in the reading yesterday. But the thing to note here is you've already started to do something that really clears the path for your healing even further. So you've made a significant amount of healing progress, but you've got more. Everyone's got more. That's not a bad thing. It's just part of the condition. It's, are you far enough along in your healing to get to a place where you aren't feeling so much of the challenge of it, or you're always going to feel the challenge of it ideally, but is it feeling less like a chore and more like, and now I'm doing this? You learn things, and it doesn't always have to be a difficult thing. I get the sense in the month of September, some of these lessons aren't as painful, even if we do see some challenges there. Six of Wands here just really reinforces for us and reiterates that the challenges continue and that the lessons continue, but it's also interaction with your person's energy that is both facilitating this and enabling it. They manifested you to begin with, this overall situation, and they aren't able to let you go, and they don't feel like they have control of the manifestation. They feel like they have bitten off more than they can chew. They don't feel confident about it. They don't have the emotional intelligence and emotional independence that they would like to have. But they do feel like they feel like they're a boulder rolling down the side of a hill now and have all this momentum and have no idea what to do with it. Did not expect it to be that steep of an incline. Here with the Ten of Wands, there's a sense of a little bit of a breakdown from that standpoint where really it's just too much of a feeling that they have too much responsible. They feel like they're responsible for too much and that they can't really get their arms around it because they have that same lesson for them to learn as you do around yourself, which is, what are the things that I can set down because they don't necessarily give me additional benefit. So your person's going to be learning something about that this month. That's not surprising. That was in the general energy for the month, which would be energy that could easily be acting upon people outside of the divine feminines within this collection. Could easily go to the divine masculines and beyond. Now we had a couple of them there. There's the Two of Cups here in the reverse that wanted to come out, and the King of Coins in the reverse. So there's a sense of not allowing something to happen between the two of you, and I can't tell if this is mutual. Like, it's mutual. I can't tell how mutual it is. It could be 90% them. It could be 50% them. But there's a sense of almost denying themselves or denying yourselves the valuable parts of this partnership. No, this is mostly them. This is mostly them, because as I'm going through it, I'm like, wait. There's a couple of you out there that may be saying, I'm going to push this away and I'm not going to do it. But for the most part, this is them saying they're denying themselves the valuable parts of this partnership, despite the fact that there is evidence maybe that they shouldn't. There's a sense of nostalgia. There's a sense of beauty in this energy. And there's a sense of them knowing that this is basically all of the answers are right here. But that is an incredibly scary thing. And the fear outweighs the strength here. The fear outweighs the strength. And so there is progress being made within the month of September, but not necessarily the progress that you might expect. I'm going to see if I can fit all these cards in. I think we had a couple more cards come out than usual, but no, I think we got them all fit in there. All right, so a lot happening with you guys and your energy in the month of September, but it is a lot of kind of energy shifting back and forth, but not necessarily making a ton of change ultimately. So we have their energy digging in. That's energy of progress, definitely energy of needing the time for that progress. There's partnership, that there's an attempt to make some partnership, and there are reasons why that's not necessarily panning out over here. All comes down to fear. It all comes down to seeing the most amazing thing and then saying that's terrifying, which is an incredibly common response, as we know, because there's a whole collective full of people who's experienced it. And it's a very common thing for people to look at a scary situation and say, um, I would just as easily not deal with this, you know. Um, Before we go into the extended, we got to see what's happening with your person, because I don't see a ton of that coming out here. I think we did a whole reading on what was happening with you in your life. We'll get into the extended. We'll look a little bit more at what's happening with them in their life, get their specific energy. Of course, we'll do some reading on you as well, because we always do. And here in the main reading, we always want to do it because not everybody goes to the extended. Not everybody can, not everybody does, not everybody is inclined to. So we want to make sure that this is like a standalone. These are good messages. Now, not to say that crazy stuff does not then sometimes come out in the extended when we dig deeper. However, I usually try and tell you in the comments too if something's like, hey, without the extended, this YouTube reading doesn't make as much sense. Like, I'll try and warn you when that happens. But this, you know, generally speaking, I want to make sure they're standalone. So what I like to do is always incorporate a little bit about you and your lessons in over here. So let's take a look at what you need to know and what you need to be focused on during the month of September. That's something that, you know, we used to do these entire readings on your lessons, and I felt like I could do it every day and it would still be, you know, more that needs to come out. So it's just something that we make sure that we get into every reading. We have the Eight of Wands. The time is now for something. Time is now for you to move forward on something. And you've got the Strength card. Don't let your fear stop you. Those are pretty strong messages. The time is now to move forward on something, but don't let your fear stop you. This might be starting something for yourself. Might be starting a business. Might be like you've got to wait until the time is right for the business. If you choose to do that, there's something that you are identifying during the month of September, or you possibly might have already identified, but it is not the way you want it to be. It is not ideal. You have many options about the way that you want to handle this. With the Seven of Cups, that's the Nine of Cups in the reverse saying, this is not what I want. Seven of Cups in the upright says you have several options. You're in a place in your life where you have several options about how you want to handle things. And now it's a matter of just understanding what those options are, seeing what works, what doesn't work, what can be done together, what can't be, and just kind of making a call what aligns the best with you. You're going to feel like it's the right time to do this, but you might not feel like you have all the right everything like lined up to do it. So this Hermit card speaks to that. This tells you that there is a good sense, you're gonna develop some wisdom, but you have to kind of go looking for it. And it shouldn't be something that takes too much seeking, but it's definitely going to be a good thing for you to go ahead and, when you feel like you need to do some thinking, heed that and do give yourself the opportunity. So in yesterday's reading, we saw the Devil card come up first thing, saying, hey, there's going to be this devil energy across the course of this month. The way that it felt was something is still holding on to you that you don't feel like it's the right place for you anymore. It shouldn't be holding on to you anymore is kind of what you're feeling like. This is the person that's quitting smoking and during the month of August has managed to cut down significantly. This is the person who's trying to stop with the overthinking, and there are definitely some tricks and things that maybe have happened to make this better, but unfortunately there's still a high amount of overthinking and you just kind of want to get rid of it. It's that kind of energy. It's creating a little bit of an imbalance, so you know you have a nice solid balance that you're moving toward during the course of the month of September. It shows up kind of all across yesterday's reading in your general energy. But recognize there are going to be some things that you're going to have to let go of. This came up in almost exactly the same place, almost exactly the same position in yesterday's reading, but it showed up in the reverse because it was about you letting go of certain things that you determined from, and it was connected with that Ten of Wands card that also came up in yesterday's reading. There are certain things that as they come up, you'll say, oh no, I'm sorting that out. That one does not need to be on my plate. That can go to somebody else, or it is simply something that I don't need to do anymore. Sometimes it's going to be, I talked about stopping, and keeping doing certain things. Okay. So let's see here. We have the Five of Wands. It came up kind of like there's the Seven of Wands and there was the Five of Wands, and I don't know if we want anything under it. So with the Seven of Wands, this is your ability to get in there and really just, nope, we want this. This is the ability for you to really just get in there and do something that may have formerly scared you. This is a great energy. It's very, the time is now, even though there's fear energy. I love that. I definitely love that for you, because I feel like the time is now and waiting is not going to serve you anymore after a certain point. With the Knight of Cups here, though, it's also, it's a feeling of kind of keeping it to yourself. So we've seen that one come up here a couple of times, where if you have the opportunity to tell somebody something, sometimes it's not the right thing to do. Sometimes letting people know is not the right way to go. You may want to develop something more or wait for more information to come in before you make a communication. There's something here about that. We saw that in yesterday's reading, so this is just kind of reiterating that same sort of feeling. There's a very easy does it, go with the flow sort of vibe here. So despite the fact that you've got all this power to move forward and that now's the time to do so, let the flow carry you. You have an Eight of Wands here in the reverse, which is saying that there is going to be not equal and opposite force trying to stop you, but there is going to be some drag, I guess I would say, on your ability to move forward. So just something to think about. There will be a little bit of drag as you're trying to move forward, and whatever I feel like you're not going to be as worried about that. Like, you may not be able to get rid of it immediately, but I feel like you're going to still not be impacted too strongly by it. One thing I will say is to keep the gratitude going. So we saw that come up in yesterday's reading, comes up again here. Keeping the gratitude rolling in your own thinking, in your own prayers, really kind of, it helps you as you move through more challenging things, because you'll automatically be able to, it kind of makes things more real that are positive in your life. You're breathing life into it by breathing gratitude into it. We've got the High Priestess in reverse. That opportunity to breathe gratitude into your life is very much connected with that tie to your higher self. And meditation is a great way to access it. So it's also a great time to focus on the gratitude. With the Two of Coins in reverse here, it's telling us that there's a little bit of day-to-day imbalance that needs to be addressed. So that temperance balance is kind of that long-term balance that you look at and you say, okay, so my life is generally on the right course. The Two of Coins is much more of it's a day-to-day feeling of balance, you know. And there's a focus there. There's something you're going to want to focus on. I think there's something that happens in your day-to-day that is maybe needs more attention than it's currently getting, and probably needs to be changed. So we'll look a little bit more deeply into that and get you some more messages across the month of September. And so we'll see kind of, this is, remember, what you need to focus on from a soulmate perspective. It's still very consistent messages with what we saw yesterday, but there's a now's the time to move forward sort of element with this. In this energy. So when we go into the extended, we're also going to look at what's happening with your person and kind of what's happening with their energy specifically. Thanks for being here with me for this one. If you want to go to the extended, the link is down below, and we will dig in more deeply on both of your energies and see if what kind of messages want to come out. And then I will otherwise look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's reading.